Lawrence Auclair. I've been learning about cults for the last 2 years, Scientology and the aftermath being what started everything. After watching your amazing interviews with Sarah Landry, but also Wild Wild Country and Holy Hell documentaries on Netflix, I noticed something. In the Nithyananda, Rahashish Param, and Buddha field cults, everyone had a new name attributed to them by the leader to disconnect them from their previous lives, quote unquote. Without necessarily giving new names to people, does Scientology have a practice that would serve the same purpose, aka creating a new identity to the parishioners? It's not exactly a ceremonial or traditional or sort of ritualistic sort of thing that happens in Scientology where we out with the old, in with the new kind of personality or attitude. But you do get identity in Scientology through your case level. In other words, the levels of indoctrination as you move up the bridge to total freedom. Funny, it's such an irony that you are moving up the bridge to total freedom while you are really, in reality, becoming more and more and more indoctrinated and more isolated and insulated into the bubble world of Scientology. But that's cults for you. So yes, there is that happening, and those status levels, as we've referred to them many times, can also be looked at as aspects or substitutions for the person's identity. And the people definitely take this as part of their identity. When they achieve the state of clear, when they achieve OT levels, that's now part of who they are. And they very, very much identify with that, to the point where, you were asked in Scientology shortly after being met by another Scientologist, what's your case level? Where are you at on the bridge, right? It's always constantly you're being measured on where you stand on your levels of indoctrination. This also applies in Scientology with levels of donation. This has been something that David Miscavige has worked very hard on for probably the last 25 years or so, making status in the International Association of Scientologists commensurate with the same idea, in other words, as case level. In fact, Miscavige, as I've mentioned and I think wrote about in the past, Miscavige has actually equated giving money for nothing, just donating your money to the International Association of Scientologists for whatever they're going to use it for, and there is zero transparency, zero accountability. You give that money over, you have no idea what that money is being used for. They'll tell you this, that, and the other thing, but they're lying to you. They're not telling you where it's really going, because the people who are telling you where the money's going, most of the time, they don't even know. But all of that aside, the status that is afforded by the trophies and titles and fanfare that connected with donating to the IAS have made it, within the bubble world of Scientology, its own kind of identification. I'm a patron of the IAS. I'm a patron meritorious of the IAS. I'm a patron gloritorious of the IAS, right? I'm a silver meritorious, gold meritorious, platinum meritorious. They have titles coming out their ears, like old royalty titles in the French court. These things are fought over and desired and wanted, and people play one-upmanship within the world of Scientology to get these titles. So they really do matter in this world, right? You look at it outside and you go, these people are nuts. And to a degree, you're right. They have gone a little nuts over these titles and these identities that they get, because it's all about status. And within the social hierarchy of Scientology, case level, training level, and IAS donations are the three things that pretty much establish your identity as a Scientologist. So that's kind of how it works there. And of course, the longer you're involved in this, the less your previous, non-cult personality, the less influence that has, the less that is you, as you've created this sort of new identity and paradigm for yourself. And that's pretty much how that works.